Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I am Jordan. Today we are going to look at Blade and Bone. Now, it's a product that's been out for a while. It's got a lot of rave reviews and a lot of attention at the very beginning. And I'm just now getting around to it. I bought this at Blackwell's Wine and Spirits, San Francisco, California. They sent it here. Just came in the mail today, along with the Bardstown that I just got done reviewing. $45 is what I paid for it. Kind of bought it on a whim, but it sounded like it was something worth checking out. So we're gonna crack into this thing. So seemingly, how it was Stitzel Weller is the distillery that this is coming out of. I thought for sure that this was going to be a Sazerac product, and turns out that it is a Diageo product. And this is kind of cool. It has an actual metal skeleton key on it, a little fiddly bit. That's pretty sweet, not going to lie. Coming in at 45.5% ABV or 91 proof. There's all kinds of little things in here. It's matured using the rigorous Solera aging method, preserving our rarest whiskey stocks and the spirit of Stitzel Weller. They're really leaning into that Stitzel Weller distilling thing and everything else. Mind you, this is not Weller. This is not Stitzel Weller. It's still the Stitzel Weller company. It's owned by Diageo, but it also the Solera cask. What that is they basically just continue, like, imagine a giant vat, and they just continuously add new whiskey into it. So it ages, new whiskey goes into it. So you got a giant, so from batch to batch. So you make a run and it goes into a giant vat. And then you make another run, it goes into the same vat. Then it makes another run, puts it in the same vat. From that vat, then you are emptying it out into casks to then go and age, right? So it's just this continuous mixing of runs to try and get a more consistent product. And over time, because it's kind of blending all together, you kind of get it shouldn't change as much. It's kind of the theory of a Solera cask. Um, Aged and charged American oak. Notes of sweet caramel, warm winter spice, and dried fruits. Yada yada. It's bourbon. 5 keys of Blade and Bow once hung on the front door of the iconic Stitzel Weller distillery. These heavy brass keys represented the 5 steps of crafting bourbon and symbolized the art of making the world's finest bourbon. So there's some marketing for you. Crafted and carefully selected straight bourbon whiskeys, including the last remaining bourbon ever produced at the Stitzel Weller. Okay, so I'm wrong. There is a little bit of that in there. Inspired by the historic, so they must have started with a little bit of Stitzel Weller distillate, threw that in the Solera cask, and then started adding their own stuff to it. So technically, there might be 1/1 billionth of a particle of Stitzel Weller in this bottle. Inspired by the historic Stitzel Weller distillery established 1935, Louisville, Kentucky, renowned home of the world's finest bourbons. There you go. It's everything we know about this. I do like the key, though. That's kind of cool. So, I guess I kind of lied about some things and was right about some other things. But it's interesting nonetheless. I'll give them that. They got some good marketing. They got a very nice bottle design here. The key is pretty sweet. Not going to lie about that one. Got some hefty tinfoil on here. The fact that it's tucked underneath seems like a bad idea to me, like it wouldn't quite work so well. So we're going to take that off and put it around the neck here. We're going to keep it on the bottle because, like I said, it's pretty sweet. $45 at Blackwell's. Woo, that's a hefty pour. Wine and spirits. But here we go. Blade and Bow. My rendition of it. Now in the glass it's a little musty. Um, has bourbon overtones. Now I'm coming directly off the heels of that Bardstown Origin series that I just reviewed. Uh, very, very different nose. This is very dusty, old attic, basement, must, a dense, heavy caramel. This is kind of leaning to like a Woodford Reserve or a Old Forester type nose, whereas the Bardstown was kind of more in that I would say Buffalo Trace bright fruity nose. But yeah, there's a dark, dense cherry on this one. Dense caramel. Has a little bit of oiliness to it. Smells like it's going to be dense and heavy. I'm not going to lie, it smells delicious. This is probably leaning more towards what I look for in a bourbon. Smells delicious. Okay, I got to get into this one. Here we go. Ooh, man, that is excellent. Okay, so it is not as dense, heavy, oily, clingy as I thought it was going to be, but instead, very surprisingly, it is kind of like this heavy creaminess that comes through and the caramel note that just starts in the beginning and just rides through to the mid palate is outstanding. It's a very dense, heavy caramel. It's very pleasant. There's a little bit of a brown sugar note in there, and then it picks up and finishes with a little bit of a dark fruit, a little bit of the spices, and basically some barrel tannin in there. A little bit of that bitterness, but again, just like with that Origin series, I would say more so with this. This is even better balanced. Now I said that about that Bardstown on my first sip, and then my second sip was different, but this is really seeming well balanced, where that bitterness is very subtle, and at the end, it's just kind of a little accent on there, which is how I prefer it to be. I do not want that bitter oak to be the main flavor, and so yeah, it's man, really like that one. Um, this is kind of reminding me almost of man. I drink bourbon so infrequently that Um, again, it's extremely familiar, and I'd have to go through a couple of different renditions before I found one. I was almost gonna say E.H. Taylor, which I know is a Buffalo Trace product, but it's could be wrong about that one. Oh my god, the caramel, whatever you want to call it. On this one, it is so dense. It is just ooh, that's literally all I'm smelling on this. I cannot get anything else out of it. It's kind of hinting at a dark fruit behind it, but kind of convincing myself that it's there. It's just caramel. We'll go in for another sip here. It is sweet, caramel forward, creamy. This time that oak, that bitterness picked up in the middle a little bit, and it's kind of riding from the beginning of the middle all the way to the end. The ethanol kind of came forward with a little more black pepper on that one. Um, but the balance on this is so well done. The densities of those two flavors coming together, like that is the majority of it, of the palate, but it from beginning to end, like it's just really nice. At least for me. This is really hitting. Ooh, that time we got some cherry, some dark cherry in there. Starting to kick into a floral note here. Um, It's just really nice bourbon. I'm not gonna lie. And as a guy that's kind of gotten over bourbon over the years, I'm definitely gonna recommend this. And at $45, this one's hitting it out of the park. This is beating several whiskeys that I've chased and paid a lot more money for by leaps and bounds. Yeah, I'm digging that. $45, Blackwell's Wine and Spirits, San Francisco, California. Check and see if they ship to your area. Here to Wyoming, those free shipping over $300. I hate to admit that I bought, you know, 4 bottles and paid over $300, but stay tuned for the Lefroy Cardias 2023. I don't actually know how to pronounce it. And the Lagavulin Distillers Edition 2023. Blade and Bow, worth every penny. If you can find it for $45, definitely pick it up. Drop in the comments down below what you can find it for in your area. Maybe you're lucky and it's a little bit cheaper than that where you live. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with anybody who you think might find it beneficial. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.